Good afternoon. Welcome to the webinar of Public Administration. I am Srikant Bhagat. I am teaching Public Administration for last 15 years. I have written books on Public Administration also. And it's my experience that Public Administration has been one of the most successful optional subject for civil service examination. In fact, sometimes we have seen almost 40% candidates had one of their optionals as public administration. I am not saying this because I am teaching public administration. I have studied public administration, but it's statistics. You can see reports of UPSC, past reports of UPSC, you can refer, you will come to know that public administration has proved to be one of the most successful optional subject. But before discussing about public administration, its significance, why should start preparing public administration, before this I would like to discuss very important concern which I observe in students. Generally, students when prepare for civil service, they start preparing for general studies, and for a long time they are preparing general studies and they ignore optional papers. They appear in the prelims examination of civil services without their preparation in the optional. And that is what very disturbing. They appear in the prelims examination. They appear in the prelims examination without their preparation of the optional paper. And maybe they qualify prelims, but they could not qualify mains. Generally, qualifying prelims becomes difficult if you don't have the study background of optional, preparation of optional has not been done. Qualifying the prelims becomes difficult. Whatsoever optional you are having, basically I believe that you should prepare optional first. I am not saying start with optional, but at least with general studies, optionals preparation should be parallel. And before you appear in the prelims examination, your optional paper must be completed. You must complete your optional paper. There is difference in the way you prepare. In prelims examination, you prepared one way. In mains examination, you prepare different way. And general studies, you prepare one way. Optional paper, you prepare different way. Other way. General studies you prepare just general understanding of the subject matter. When you prepare optional paper, you go into depth of the subject matter, going into details of the dynamics of various subject matters of the optional paper. For example, suppose I take a subject topic of general studies. Suppose you are preparing president. In your polity segment, GS2, you prepare polity. In the polity segment, you are preparing president. So what is generally done when the candidates are preparing about the president? What they generally do, they will pick up certain articles regarding president. Suppose they are preparing in president, they are preparing appointment. They prepare removal. They prepare powers and functions. Three topics are prepared: appointment, process of election of president, electoral college, and removal process, Article 56, 61, impeachment. And then powers, functions, legislative power, executive power, judicial power, miscellaneous power, including military diplomacy. This way, preparation is done. Generally, this is prepared. Why? Because you want to first understand about president. If you know that I know about appointment process of president, I know things. But suppose when you are preparing public administration as an optional, same in public administration you have to go through paper 2. Paper 2 of public administration is almost complete paper 2 of GS. Except IR segment, paper 2 of GS is covered in paper 2 of public administration completely, entirely, I can say. So, in public administration, suppose you are preparing president, then you are preparing about president, a political presidency. For example, political presidency. The political presidency means we have seen in India that president is a constitutional head, but he has been appointed on background of the politics. Dr. Rajendra Prasad belonged to Congress party, but his appointment was acceptable. Why? Because he was the leader of the national movement, and anyone from the national movement definitely could be given that post. But we see V.V. Giri, Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad, Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, Gyani Jail Singh, Shankar Dayal Sharma, or Pranab Mukherjee, and then Ramnath Kovind, they all belongs to political parties. Should a person from political background be appointed as president? What are the implications? We see governor today becomes governor is a political figure at present. Governor is a constitutional post. He is the constitutional head of the state government. But you read the process of appointment and removal of governor. Governor is appointed by president as per the will of the central government, and governor can be in office at the pleasure of the president or the pleasure of the central government. Central government appoints governor, central government removes governor. And this creates dilemma, this creates problem. State governments have witnessed imposition of Article 356 or President's rule so many times. Eligible people thrown out of the office. We have several Supreme Court cases. N.T. Rama Rao, S.R. Bomai. Several cases are there. Eligible people were thrown out of the office and political stooges were appointed as the chief minister in states. Why? Because governor was a political person. He was agent of the center. Post of governor creates political controversy. Then maybe in future, till now we have not faced much controversy in the political presidency, but maybe political presidency creates a crisis. What kind of crisis political presidency can create? This subject matter is not studied in GS. When you are preparing general studies, in GS you don't prepare this way. But when you are preparing optional, suppose public administration, you prepare this way. Secondly, when you are preparing for optional public administration, you also study power position. Power position of president. When you study power position of president, first you study that what is the presidency model in India. Have we accepted US model? In US model, when we say US model, President is the real head. US President is the real head. He is virtually elected directly by the people. Direct election. No doubt primaries take place over there, but kind of direct election. He selects his own council of ministers called secretaries. He is not accountable to Congress, Senate. He can veto Congress law, Congress legislation. If he says veto, if he puts veto, then Congress can pass it only by 2/3 majority, special majority, qualified veto. He is very powerful person. American president is perhaps in democratic field, he is perhaps the most powerful head of the state, American presidency. And Indian president, whatever Indian president does, he does as per the advice of the Council of Ministers. Article 74 specifically mentions that whatever president has to do, there shall be a Council of Ministers with Prime Minister at the head to aid and advise the president in discharge of his function, and he shall act according to the advice as given by Council of Ministers. He has to act as per the advice of the Council of Ministers. And then Constitution was amended in 1978 to insert a clause that provided President can send that advice for reconsideration of the Council of Ministers. After that reconsideration, if advice comes, he has no other option but to accept. Means President does nothing as per his own discretion, as per his own will. He has to act as per the advice of the Council of Ministers. Only once he can send that advice for reconsideration. Only once. That means Indian president is a nominal head. Indian president is a British model. And there you analyze Article 74 minutely. You study Article 75. 75 talks about appointment of Prime Minister by President, appointment of other ministers by President. You study Article 78 minutely. Duty of the Prime Minister to inform the President. And based on that, you draw some conclusion, studying the functioning of the President from Dr. Rajendra Prasad till Ram Nath Kovind. Just preparing for GS polity segment this way will not solve your problem. Have you seen question of UPSC? Are they asking question how President of India is appointed? How can President of India be removed? Or what are the legislative powers of the President? No, this way question is not asked. They may directly hit a question. They can ask question, Indian President is a rubber stamp. Do you agree? Indian President resemble more as the British monarch, less as the President of America. Indian presidency system borrows or flow of Yamuna regarding presidency is supported by Thames, not by Potomac. Indian president is like grandparents. This kind of question they can ask. In UPSC, question is not asked what the way you have prepared. So when you are, suppose you have any other optional, you are preparing history or geography, you develop an instinct to prepare what is desired, what is required in UPSC examinations, even for general studies. Otherwise, approach remains what? Following the approach of just going through topics, subtopics, and when you finish the subtopics, you feel that I am ready. So when you start preparing optional, what happens? Generally, when you prepare optional, You develop an instinct, capacity, skill. Develop skill, analytical skill in the context of the tail words examine, evaluate, explain, discuss, comment. These are the analytical ways, dynamics of analysis. Examine is one dynamics of analysis. Examine is one of the dynamics of examining. I will show you how this is important dynamics of. Suppose there is a word examine and there is a word discuss in the question. Generally statements are there and tail word examine, discuss, comment, evaluate, elucidate, illustrate, these kind of words are generally used. So examine means, if you see the dictionary meaning, generally it say, people say, I have heard so many students saying examine, we have to write positive, we have to write negative. Examine. Even in comment they say we have to write positive, we have to write negative. Completed. Examine, real meaning of examine is to closely observe the things without being biased. Suppose a doctor is examining a patient. Doctor will closely see the symptoms. If doctor feels that I am not happy, I am not capable of seeing the symptoms directly, then doctor will be suggesting you some test. You can go for CT, you can go for MRI, you can go for some X-rays or some blood related pathological analysis. So doctor is not biased that you have disease, you have not disease. There is no preconceived notion that you are ill, you have disease. Doctor first closely observes the thing. In that close observation, something may be good, something may be against you. And based on that good or bad things, he comes to some conclusion. But this is being neutral. You are neutral regarding a topic and trying to understand what is good, what is bad, and then you draw a conclusion. If you are capable of doing things, then you are able to examine the question. You are able to examine it. Examining is a skill. You are examining, it's a skill. And discuss is another thing. Discuss is a positive conversation. It's a positive form of conversation. It's a positive form of conversation. I hear students say, sir, we four people have started discussion. And after 1 month, they come and say, this particular student, oh Mukesh, he is absent. Why? So he is not with us. He resides somewhere else, right? One day fight started. One person says Thomas Hobbes was right. Other says Machiavelli was right. They started fighting on the subject. Machiavelli and Thomas Hobbes never fought. Students fighting. This is not discussion. Discussion is a conversation is in positive tone. Even if you are criticizing someone, your tone should be constructive, positive. So examine is an analytical skill. Discussion is also analytical skill. Discuss is also analytical skill. And these two skills, when you prepare for GS, you don't get the perspective, you don't get the opportunity to develop these skills. But when you study optional, the question of optional, study pattern of optionals are such. Like, see, suppose you have to if you have to take up the subject, examine, you will see that this examining will happen this way. You take one point, you take a topic A, suppose point A, and you go into depth. You take point B, you go into depth. Is a vertical entry into subject matter. Examining is a vertical entry. But when you discuss, you can take A, may take B, you may take C, you may take D, you may take E, and you remain at this level, just this level. This level is horizontal, more of horizontal. In case of examine, you should not take much point, because if you are taking much point, word limits are there. 150 words, 200 words, 250 words. In that you have to write the answer. If you take so many points, you will not be able to go into depth. You will not be able to closely observe. Like microscope examines, no? Judge also examine, minutely examines, closely observing. A criminal, an accused is caught. Common men say hang him, but judge finds no, he is not the accused, he is released. He is not the criminal, released. Why? Because judge goes into depth, goes minutely. Similarly, administrator also has to examine things. Administrator needs to discuss, converse, and there is possibility of comment also. Comment is your remark. If you see something, what remark comes in your mind first, what remark comes in your mind second, what remark comes in your mind third. This way, this is particularly preparing for optional. You develop analytical skill. That means, suppose you have to become administrator, you have to execute law, you have to make policy. You must be capable of analyzing a particular circumstance, situation. You must be capable of analyzing a particular law and rules. Then only you can apply it. So first thing, when you prepare for optional, what happens? It develops your skill. In what form skill is developed? One form is it develops in you analytical skill. In general studies, you have to prepare so many things. You, from one topic, you shift to second, to third, to fourth, fifth, and topic is so broad, unlimited numbers. You don't get the right opportunity, right environment, right perspective to develop these skills when you are preparing for general studies. You sit, think over the subject, what I have said. You will come to same conclusion what I am discussing. And not just analytical skill, it develops in you academic perspective. Academic skill. Academic skill is what? Is a kind of skill which scholars have. Scholarly skill. Administrator should also be a scholar. If he is not a scholar, he will not be able to advise Prime Minister, Chief Minister, Ministers, Minister of States. He will not be able to perceive, understand the true requirement of the nation, of the people, common man, diversified population. If he is not a scholar, he will not be able to understand the thematic aspect of a law, what law exactly wants. This means, and you don't have opportunity when you prepare GS, you don't have opportunity to develop your academic skill, your scholarly ability. And third, preparing for optional also gives you a balancing personality. This skill in you, a balanced personality, this skill in you can be developed. Because when you prepare, suppose the theory you prepare, in public administration we have to discuss, you have to study about Max Weber. Suppose for example, we have to prepare a thinker Max Weber. And Max Weber has discussed about bureaucracy. He has given theory of bureaucracy, Max Weber has given. And he has given a model of bureaucracy. In that model he says bureaucracy is governed by rules, not by his own discretion. Bureaucracy should be impartial. There must be hierarchy of office. There are certain things he said. Rule is one of them. Bureaucrats should follow rule. Bureaucrat must follow rule. This bureaucracy which follows rule will be ideal. Ideal type of bureaucracy, Weber says. So Weber says something, there are critics. Critics also say. Critics say that rule-based bureaucracy becomes rule-bound bureaucracy. And rule, this itself becomes the goal. Rule should be there to achieve some goal, but in practice what happens? This rule itself becomes goal. Rule becomes the goal for them. Rule becomes the game for them. Critics say. There is one view, Weber, who says rule is important. Rule-based bureaucracy is the ideal bureaucracy. Other view is there. Thorstein Veblen is there. Merton is there. Other scholars are there who say that rule-based bureaucracy becomes rule-bound bureaucracy, lead towards goal displacement. Rule becomes the goal. Two views, two different views. So should we discard rules? Should we discard rules? It happens. Suppose old age woman, there was case study asked in ethics. Old age woman goes to SDM office 30 kilometers from her residence to get pension. She needs to carry one A4 size, page size identity card. She travels 30 kilometer, walk 1 kilometer, then rickshaw 2 kilometer, then 25 kilometer, bus, then again 2 kilometers walk to reach SDM's office. So many SDM offices are there in the country where people have to march. I have seen one block in Morena district. I was working, I have some social work to do also. I was working in Jaura Tehsil of Morena district. So I found that from Jaura, it was a tribal village. In Jaura Tehsil, there were so many tribal villages. So from Jaura district, their district office was 56 kilometers. Earlier, there used to be in West Bengal, there was a district called Bardhaman. One point of village in Bardhaman to Bardhaman district was approximately 120 kilometers. Old woman visits SDM office without the identity card, and in the rule it is written, without I card pension cannot be given. Bureaucrats say, no, I can't do anything, you go bring your card, otherwise I can't give you pension. Rigid application of rule is dangerous. It brings hardships to women, old age person. I have seen 70 years woman going to SDM office not getting pension. Following of rules rigidly lead towards hardships to people. But can we create a bureaucracy, allow bureaucracy to behave as they wish? You frame your rule, you execute your rule. Then the same SDM will pay pension to a woman and will say other woman and will say मैंने तो pay कर दिया, I have paid. If without I card SDM starts giving pension, then he can give pension to anyone and say that मैंने तो pay कर दिया, I have paid it. Rule is there, that is why the same woman is getting the pension. And rule is there, the same woman is getting hardships. So there is a moral dilemma, how to balance it. When you study public administration or optional paper generally, you are studying Weber's view one side, you are studying the counter view, second view. And then you cannot come to conclusion, discard the rule. You cannot come to conclusion that this is rigidity of rule must be applied. You try to find out some means, a balanced means. This habit of balancing develops. This can't be developed when you are studying GS, because in GS what you do? Your study is just shallow. So one point why you should prepare optional paper first, because it develops skill. It brings in you certain skills which cannot be developed when you are preparing for GS. Now these skills which you have developed in preparing for optional paper, you can apply in general studies. Your preparation's quality will improve. Its impact will improve. Effectiveness will come. Qualifying prelims will become easy. Second thing, very important. Second thing is time gap. See, you prepare, imagine you are preparing for prelims and in May, month of May, you appear in prelims examination. And in the month of October, you have your mains. Some people, most of the freshers, they try. Let's try. In the try, they lose one attempt. Maybe some of the candidates who are not trying but sincere, they appear in mains. Sorry, PT, they qualify. Suppose you appear in month of May, 6-7 days you relax. Why? Because you are exhaustively preparing. And plus preparing for prelims, one track, mains is another. You have to change the track also. So you are preparing for PT, 7-10 days you relax, you are sure I will qualify, then you start preparing for mains. Those who are not sure, those who are 50-50, they waste 1 month at least till the result comes. So June has gone, July, August, September, 3 months. Those who are sure, they also have 3.5 months. Between this period, it is approximately 3.5 months. And 3.5 months you have 4 GS paper. GS 1, 2, 3, 4, essay and optional. Because in GS you have not prepared paper for ethics, you need to prepare that also. Or prepared not thoroughly, you need to go for this. There are so many topics in GS which you have not covered from mains perspective that you need to prepare. Essay you need to prepare, and then optional you need to prepare. First time you are preparing optional, you need to revise also. cover the syllabus, then revising it, then answer writing practice. In GS also answer writing practice. This optional preparation remains haphazard, partial, and then you get poor marks in optional, disqualified. Even you feel less confident when you are not prepared thoroughly in one area. Optional is 500 marks and you are blank here. It's not like GS that once you prepare you can write something. In optional you need to prepare thoroughly, in depth. See the questions of optional paper. So you need to prepare extensively. You have not done anything, you are less confident, a pressure, stress. In stress, your quality of preparation degenerates. In stress, you can't perform your best. In stress, your preparation does not have stability. As you have lack of time, you can't take help from teacher. You cannot write anything. This time, prelims to mains, this time is just to revise and write. This is the period you need to revise and write. Just this, revision and writing practice. Or maybe some topics not covered, filler, like filler you have something not covered, then prepare those fillers. You cannot think of preparing topics thoroughly here, or one paper you can't afford to ignore if you cannot afford 1 year lapse. You are ready to lose 1 year, then it's okay, you can afford it. Do you want this? Do you want to try this time one try, this second time another try, third time another try? I'm teaching for long time. For 15 years I am teaching this subject matter and in civil services. I have seen lots of people, after 2 attempts they get frustrated. They start searching for some state PCS or SSC, their age also lapse, or some other examination. Some students I have seen, they are doing their B.Ed or taking admission in law, then starting a career afresh in somewhere else. So you need to prepare optional before you have started your prelims preparation. And third thing, why you should prepare optional? Because PT orientation is a blunder. I feel it. And my conviction concerning this idea is right. Preparing for mains, you prepare exhaustively, thoroughly. You know a topic, suppose in history, you are studying Akbar. So you know Akbar is an administrator, Akbar as a theologian, or Akbar's theology, Akbar's religious policy, or Akbar's revenue policy, Akbar's expansionism related ideas, Akbar interested in becoming king of Hindustan, what way, Mansabdari system by him. You study thoroughly, and when the question is asked in prelims regarding Akbar, so extensively you have prepared, then for mains you have prepared extensively so many topics, then prelims question becomes easy. And in prelims you are just preparing the facts, one fact, second, third, fourth, like not comprehensive this way, then these facts overlap, you miss. When facts will overlap upon one another, you cannot choose the right answer, confusion will come. But when you have studied thoroughly, one of the facts in between here, you can connect facts with the analysis. answering in the prelims will be easy. Facts vanishes. Facts are like bubbles, they vanish very soon. And analysis is like color, natural colors. Analysis is like natural colors. They mix easily with the water. They retain, they remain, they are visible. So preparing for mains, whatever you prepared, that will stay for long period. And preparing for PT, fact based, it will not sustain in your mind for long. It will not remain as a clear cut, transparent idea. It will vanish. Therefore, those people who are not qualifying prelims one second time, then more probable in third time also they will not qualify prelims, because they come into trap of the prelims examination. I am not saying general rule is applied everywhere. It is possible that people are improving themselves and they qualify, but those who fall in trap of the prelims examination, they don't find motivation to prepare for mains. They think that first qualify prelims, then I will think of mains. And this trap does not help them qualifying the prelims itself. Prepare for mains. Last 2 months you give specific focus on prelims, especially revision part and picking out the factual or some analytical facts. Right strategy, the best strategy. Not preparing for optional is a PT orientation, and it should not remain in your study for long period. PT orientation should remain only for 2 months, 1.5 months. During our days, after appearing for interview also, we had next attempt in prelims 7 days gap, 8 days gap. And most of the candidates who appeared interview, they disqualified, result came, they disqualified. After 7 days they had prelims examination, and in 7 days they appeared again, they qualified PT. You ask your seniors or teachers, they know this fact, they have lived this fact, we have also lived this fact. Just 7 days revision, you can appear in PT and you can qualify. They have qualified, we have qualified. Preparing for just prelims for long time is not right way. It's a blunder, strategic blunder. And I, with conviction, with experience of this field, I am suggesting you drop this idea. So what I say, prepare for mains and prepare for optional. It will help developing your skill. You don't have time after prelims to prepare for optional paper, and prelims orientation is deadly. It's a blunder. Now I shall talk about that. Suppose you have to prepare optional, then there are lot many optional papers. History as an optional is there, geography as an optional is there, sociology is an optional, anthropology is an optional. I have seen, and you must be knowing, you go for records of the UPSC, optional rises, falls, rises, falls, rises, falls, goes on. But public administration has been consistent. Rise and fall in optional public administration has not been much. Why? Because even UPSC prefers public administration optional. Maybe they do not show their preference openly, but they want. Like you want to become a doctor, then your biology must be very good. Maybe you are a bit poor in chemistry, physics can work, but your zoology, botany must be best. Similarly, mechanical engineering, mechanics you should be very good. You have to prepare optics also, but you are weak at optics, it works. It can work. Similarly, you are a lawyer, Your law must be very good. In law, you must have constitutional law, international law, administrative law, evidence act, or substantive procedural. And you also prepare management subject matter also. Some of the topic of management. In engineering also it has been introduced. You are weak there, it works. An administrator, you should know history, geography, you should know the developments in science and technology, some statistical work. You must know everything, jack of all trades, but in administrative field, you must be very good. Otherwise, you can't be proved to be an IAS successful, effective. So, as public administration is a subject matter related to administration, UPSC also prefer this. But there is a competitive examination and equality must be provided. Therefore, they don't openly make it public that we want people from this background. But history says, reports of UPSC says, success rate with public administration has been very good. What are the reasons? I will discuss about this success rates in UPSC, that you can verify going into internet sites, or it's better to follow the UPSC's reports of the previous year. If every year UPSC prepares a report, that report is submitted to President. President tables it before both the houses of Parliament and it's made public. It's there in the public domain of UPSC's website also. You can follow, you can check them, you can find what report says. Why this public administration has been successful optional? No, I can recall in 2000 YK Alag, this name you may be knowing, YK Alag. His committee was appointed. YK Alag committee in the year 2000. YK Alag committee said that quality of the civil servants who are going for training center, going for joining the service is deteriorating, quality degenerating. Time is changing. We have entered into new age. Traditionally, people study traditional subject matter. They are qualifying, entering into civil service. Why not bringing psychometric test? YK Alag committee suggested psychometric test. This matter was taken up by PC Hota. PC Hota was chairman of UPSC, very tough evaluator. My roommate, he appeared in his board. So he never used to give any person more than 150 marks out of 300. Those days 300 marks was there in interview. Not more than 150. PC Hota. He suggested lots of reforms. CSET as an idea came after YK Alag committee, PC Hota, Surendranath Mehta, so many committees recommendation. Then we see coming of CSET. Initiative by DP Agrawal. He was chairman UPSC. He executed CSET. Then taking cue from these developments, taking cue from these, I am discussing very significant point. Taking cue from these development, there is a commission called Second ARC, Administrative Reform Commission. It's a very powerful commission, Administrative Reform Commission Second ARC. Only 2 Administrative Reform Commission have been appointed till now. First came in the year 1967, second came in the year 2005. This came in the year 2005. ARC second suggested that continue with psychometric, psychological, CSET related test, plus establish National Institute for Public Administration. National Institute of Public Administration. Those who are graduated from NIPA, they must be given preference in the public service, civil service. This idea was put on hold, but any time this idea can be applied. As reform process going on, you want to become administrator, you must have degree in public administration. If you don't have degree, at least you must have knowledge of subject matter public administration. Those who have knowledge in public administration, they easily understand public policy, financial administration, law and order administration, welfare management. They easily understand, and they do not require much time to learn the loopholes, lacunas, limitations of the administration, because they have studied it. They have studied it. Other people who have not studied it, they will go to administration, they will take time because they know nothing. It's okay. Macaulay said that we need generalist civil service. Any person having background of history, geography, philosophy, anthropology, science, commerce, etc., any person should be given opportunity. It is good, it is the best. But those who are with this administrative subject matter background, they can function better than the people who are coming from other subjects. So here UPSC wants it, and it has been proved through various reports of the government. Now, coming to practical aspect, why in comparison to other subjects public administration is better optional. I am not saying other optional papers are bad optional papers, not to be taken. Every optional paper is a good optional paper, and a person can qualify, become topper with any optional paper. So don't mean what I say, don't mean this way that I am talking about negativities of other optional papers. I just want to say how public administration is better than others. If you are preparing with any other optional paper, you continue with that. I don't say drop it and come to public administration. But if you have not taken any decision, you are going to search for an optional paper, I will, with strong conviction and so many arguments, I will present before you why you should go for public administration. Every optional is good. It all depends on your aptitude, interest, your comfortability, how you adapt to that subject matter. It all depends on so many things. But public administration is a better optional paper. First of all, the very important aspect, first of all, what makes public administration very attractive? I was in my graduation studying in Calcutta University. So in College Street is a place. College Street is a place. University of Calcutta has its central office in College Street. So I wanted to become an IAS, and I wanted to study humanities. I had very good marks in my 10th level. So I wanted to study humanities. My friends and colleagues all preferred taking science. My parents also wanted me to take science, but I denied. I said no, I will not go for science. So in that bargaining process, I had to take commerce. I have studied public administration also, post graduation with the subject later on, but I had taken commerce. And then in commerce, then BCom and CA, CS, these all courses I adopted, worked in that. So when I was doing my graduation those days, so I was traveling because I had Kida, civil service Kida from early childhood. So searching where subject matter content of the civil service is available. So in College Street, I found a yellow color book written public administration. Why it attracted my attention? My attention went to that because the term administration was written. It was a yellow color book of Rumki Basu. In College Street, like vendors, they openly on street, they used to sell books in Calcutta. So there I found Rumki Basu book over there. I asked what is the price. He said 50 rupees. Sale 50, 70, 100 rupees, not more than that. So I purchased it. Why I purchased? Because I found that there is a book administration. Administration means it is related somehow to what I want to become. I want to become an IAS, so it's related to administration. So I should study it, read it. At least 2 days I turned the pages of the books. I could study, understand nothing. So from my university, when I came to my residence on leave, I was very much annoyed from inside, very much disturbed inside, because I had seen the subject. This spirit ignited again. What I am doing, I am wasting my time studying commerce, CA intermediate, CS intermediate. I am wasting my time. What should I do? So in that disturbances, distrust inside, I visited. I found no one. One of my seniors, my cousin, etc. were in Delhi. Those days, no phone, mobile phone like system was not there. So I visited one additional district magistrate of my district, ADM. I can recall his name was S. Ali Baba. He was an IAS of 1995 batch. So I met him. And I said, sir, I am interested in preparing for civil service. First time the officers denied me meeting, but I written him that I want to prepare for civil service. Just give me few minutes. So I said I am interested in preparing for civil service and I want to start my preparation. So I prepare GS, but I want to prepare optional paper also. I knew about subject matter, syllabus, etc. So suggest me. And I said that I have one book, Rumki Basu, but I am not getting anything. He said, I have also qualified with public administration as an optional, and it's one of the best optional paper UPSC has ever introduced. And he suggested me another book. He said, start preparing with Maheshwari and Avesthi. I will suggest you books also. From that day, with passage of time, I found that subject so interesting. No subject matter concerning humanity can be so interesting for me like people who are interested in administration than public administration. Public administration is the most interesting subject matter. And what is more important, those days anthropology was doing very well. And I had one of the inclination before picking this subject, I should go for anthro. But that ADM changed my mind. Because he spoken about nothing. He spoken 10 minutes of just about the subject. And going through the subject, I found the syllabus of public administration is very short. It's not too big. It's a short syllabus. Just you read paper 1. Paper 1. There is only 12 chapters. In paper 2, 14 chapters. Just 26 chapters. And why I am giving breakup. First 3 chapters, it takes more time. It consumes approximately 30% of the time because it is having thinkers. I'll take a breakup also. It is concerned with thinkers. So administrative thinkers theory part, 30% just of the total syllabus. 30% time is needed for 3 chapters. Just 3 chapters you need 30% time. Rest 1 chapter 1 day, maximum 2 days you can finish. And in paper 2 you start with union government. First unit is background of the Indian administration, Kautilya, Mughal administration, British period. Second, philosophical context of administration, means preamble. Third chapter, PSUs in India, public sector undertaking. Fourth starts with union government, then state government. Union, state, planning. Sorry, fifth is planning, then state, then district administration. These 4 chapters, it takes approximately 10% time. Means it may take few days. Union government you will be studying for 5, 6, 7 days. State government 3.5 to 4 days. District collector 1 day. Rest 1 day or 2 days. This 10% time it takes to 30-40% combined, 60% whole syllabus. Means this optional you can prepare in 3 months. 3 months. You can revise in 18 to 22 days. Just in 18 to 22 days you can revise it. Average time 5 to 6 hours if you spend here, based on your management way of the optional. Very short syllabus, very easy to revise. And this syllabus becomes more shorter. Syllabus becomes shorter. Why? It is more a conceptual paper. Like I am comparing here with, like people know, for preparing subject zoology, botany, anthropology, history. My students used to say, I am not a ratta master. I cannot mug up. So people with zoology, they used to take public administration. Botany, they used to take public administration. So you have not to mug up concepts. Public administration is based on concepts. As these concepts are real life related. These concepts are real life related. Like you are preparing, for example, you are preparing for Citizens Charter is a topic. So Citizens Charter, you find every organization, banks, they have hanged one notice shaped document called charter. And this charter contains which service, by which authority, of which value, in what time frame shall be given at what quality. Means you read a Citizens Charter and you see that Citizens Charter, oh, it's a part of our life. Banks have Citizens Charter. Government has Citizens Charter, right to service. You prepare RTI and you come to know, every day I am hearing about RTI. One of my document has not been given by my university. Should I file RTI? Then you prepare RTI in civil service related to your life. You come to know there is a concept social audit. And you see social audit is in MG Narega. And you prepare budget. Budget from economics perspective, budget from administrative perspective. How budget process takes place in the parliament. What are the limitations of that budgeting? Who is the disbursing officers? How disbursing officer function? You study about collector, you study about SDM, you study about Panchayati Raj system, and that you see in real life. So this real life concepts. Even management, motivation as a theory. In public administration, you study motivation theory, theory of communication. Like motivation, you prepare, for example, In motivation, you are preparing the need hierarchy theory of Maslow. Abraham Maslow says human being has 5 needs, and these needs come in hierarchy. First of all comes physiological, means bodily, food, shelter, etc. Second is security. Once your food, health related needs are satisfied, then you search for security. Security from the nature, security of the future. Once these two fulfilled, you go for social needs. Friendliness, belongingness, love, affection, care. Once this is fulfilled, you want social distinction, prestige, power, authority. And then when it is fulfilled, all 4 fulfilled, you want to be self-actualized. You want to become Buddha, Gandhi, Vivekananda. And they come in order. Self-actualization comes at last. How deeply related to our life, Maslow's theory. So not just Maslow, you prepare so many motivational concepts, so many theories of motivation. And these theories are directly applicable to our life. Public administration's theory, for example, one theory, motivations, one theory, Victor Broom. He says VE, valence, expectancy. Motivation is sum total of valence and expectancy. It's a theory by Broom. And very interesting one. Valence is the strength of desire. It is the strength of desire for something. And expectancy is expectation of some outcome from our action. Suppose I am taking 2 career. One career is IAS, other career is bank PO. You are motivated to become IAS or you are motivated to become bank PO. Suppose people are offered the post of Prime Minister, post of Chief Minister. Which post people will be motivated for? Prime Minister. So if 2 posts are offered, one is IAS, other is bank PO, which post people will be motivated for? IAS. Or if I take IAS and then inspector of police, sub inspector of police, another career. If IAS and sub inspector of police is chosen, which career people will prefer? IAS. But why every person not preparing for IAS? Why people are preparing for inspector grade examination? Why people are preparing for bank PO? In our country, if you ask rickshaw puller, collector बनना है, he will say क्यों मजाक कर रहे हैं भाई साहब. But he will dream that night कि if I could be collector. Collector is such personality. Everyone wants to become collector, but everyone not preparing for civil service. People are preparing for clerical examination also. Is this mean that a person wants to become a clerk in a collector's office but does not want to become collector? Then why this happen? Why they are not motivated to become collector? Why they are preparing for clerical examination? The reason has been given by Vroom. Motivation does not take place just your strength of desire. There is strength of desire for IAS is 100 in a person. Strength of desire is 100. No excuse. I want to become collector. This desire will be there in everyone. Those who are clerk, they want their children should become IAS. So strength of desire is 100. Valence is 100. But why they don't prepare for civil service IAS examination? Because expectancy is 0. Because the expectancy means expectation of some outcome from our action. If I prepare, I will qualify. This expectancy is 0. I will prepare, I will qualify. This expectation is 0. Those who don't think they will prepare, they will qualify, their expectancy is 0, motivation becomes 0. V into E, V 100, expectancy 0, motivation is 0. They say no, I cannot prepare for IAS, I will prepare for clerical examination. Equity theory is so interesting and significant. Like not just motivation, decision making theory, theory of communication, leadership. It's conceptual related to our life. That concepts related to our life. Therefore, we connect with the life. Therefore, we can keep in our mind for longer period. Therefore, revision time reduces. Revision time reduces. Clear? Short syllabus, conceptual. Conceptual element makes syllabus shorter. Factual mugging required, mug up, rectification. Conceptual mugging not required. In that case, it remains more in your mind because of concepts. It remains more in your mind, longer in your mind. Revision becomes easy. And ultimately, when so many aspects will be there, it will become scoring. How public administration is scoring? Why it proves to be scoring? Because when you are writing about public administration, a very fundamental thing in administration, suppose you are preparing anthropology or history. While writing history, you can write only something which has happened in history. But when you are writing public administration, you can write some examples which you have seen in your life also. I am talking about a woman, old age woman pension, or a rickshaw puller getting some scheme, or RTI related cases, misuse of RTI, or RTI filed by people but PIO, public information officer, who provide information under RTI. PIO misuse the power. You have scope of, when you are writing public administration, you have scope of giving examples. That is real life examples. Number 1. Second thing, in history you can't have your view, anthropology you can't have your view, but in public administration you can have your view. With examples, there can be creativity. My view, some creative view. You can suggest some reforms your way. You think this rule, this law must be changed this way. You can write. When if you have administrative energy, administrative instinct, ideas comes in your mind, and those ideas you can write in the answer. If you are writing creative answers, your marks jump. And you know less in a history, geography, whatever you know, you write. You know less in public administration, you know less, you can write more. I don't suggest write more. But you are not blank. Once you have read the topic, you are not blank. You can write something on any subject matter. Writing something on any subject matter possible. Therefore, you attempt each and every question. No question is left. You are giving real life example, creativity, and you are writing something. This makes paper dynamic. Some people say it's dynamic, so I need to be updated. Month, 2 month, 1 year, 2 year, things do not change so great. Even if 1-2 points are changing, you are reading in general studies that you can incorporate in your answer. It does not mean every day you need to read a newspaper to prepare public administration. No, it's not so. Once you prepared, it can be applied for 2 years, 3 years. Dynamic in the sense that any question you can write your perception, your understanding, your example, your creativity. Scope of good candidates scoring more is higher. If you are below average or average only, if you feel you are average, I suggest you can search other optionals also. But if you are a bit above average, you have thinking process, you can relate things, you have examples, you are really interested in public administration or serving as a bureaucrat, then go for this. You have scope of writing, what you think, scope of creating, scope of dynamism. And as it is scoring, good optional. But public administration is beyond this. Short syllabus, conceptual, scoring, it's more than sufficient. But public administration is beyond this. Beyond this. How public administration is beyond this? Public administration covers a good topics in GS paper 2 as well as GS paper 4. So if you have a look at GS paper 2, topic number 1 to topic number 22 approximately. One to 16th topic of GS2. This we call this is IR 17 to 22 IR, and 1 to 16 we call polity and governance. Clear? Out of 250 marks, if you see in terms of questions, out of 250 marks, the approximate 50 marks question is asked from IR, 200 marks question is asked from polity and governance. Two things to understand. Is your preparation of polity, as we discussed, you are preparing polity president. Is it sufficient? Or you are preparing polity public administration way? Definitely you are preparing polity public administration way is better than you are preparing polity GS way. So polity, in terms of polity, not just public administration cover, everything has been covered in public administration of polity and governance, everything. So in polity, you just prepare polity as GS. So polity is quality and PA paper 2. This polity has quality enhancement. Just you are preparing president's appointment, you are preparing along with this whether there should be political presidency, quality enhancement. In your GS paper, when you are preparing public administration paper 2, in GS paper polity part, your marks jump. You take edge from other optional paper students because your understanding of the polity is better than understanding of that candidate. And second, governance. Governance, somewhere written social justice, both are there in public ad. In governance, polity GS is not sufficient. It's a special subject related to public administration. It is specially related to public administration. For example, you have to study good governance subject matter, administrative tribunal in public administration, regulatory authorities in public administration, NHRC public administration, RTI corruption related issues public administration, social audit public administration, citizens charter public administration. These you don't study in polity, you study in governance, and governance topics are directly from PA, public administration. Polity topics can be studied in polity books. Governance topic can't be studied in polity books. Its source only is public administration. And those who have studied public administration, their polity. So it covers paper 2 polity and governance. It also covers paper 4. It also covers paper 4. I am taking some topics of paper 4. Like for example, concept of accountability, corporate governance, administrative values, RTI, citizens charter, probity in administration. Probity means integrity. Probity in administration. transparency, philosophy, application. These are topics written and directly found in the syllabus of PA. If you refer Unit 5, Paper 1. In Unit 5, Paper 1 of Public Administration, you will find the term RTI, Citizens Charter, transparency related concepts, accountability. This chapter is called Accountability and Control. Directly there. Plus, if you refer to questions of GS4, like in 2018, they asked a question on public interest. What do you mean by public interest? Public interest is a subject matter of public administration. We studied at several places in paper 1 and paper 2 this idea. Generally understanding public administration and preparing through public administration is a subject. This topic, public interest, general understanding of public interest and public administration oriented understanding of public interest. Definitely your answer in paper 4 GS will be better than the answer of people who are not preparing public administration. Most of the questions in GS paper 4 is based on what you study in public administration. And most of the case studies, you can solve with your thorough knowledge understanding of paper 4. Means case studies has its approach in public administration. So if we see effectively, $200 marks here, and GS4 total 250 marks. There are some of the general questions, philosophical questions asked, but most of the questions are based on public administration. So we calculate here also approximately 200 marks. Approximately 200 marks means out of 1000, approximately 400 marks edge can be taken if you prepare public administration. How edge? A person preparing with history, geography, sociology, their answer quality, and a person who preparing public administration, their answer quality in these 400 marks will be better. Plus some of the topics those people have not covered, not studied, they left, can be best over here. Plus when you prepare public administration, you should not spend much time. Your time, I am not saying you are preparing for public administration, you are not required to prepare paper 2 of GS. You need to prepare paper 2 GS, but time reduces. If you take 1.5 months to prepare polity and governance, public administration candidate will take 15 days. If you take 2.5 months to prepare your ethics paper, public administration candidate can prepare in 1 month. So time is reduced in preparing, in revising 400 marks of GS. Even in paper 3 also, disaster management is a topic. In Indian economic development, there are some topics which is common to financial administration. So GS quality performance, GS marks improves, GS time reduces. and this is done in 400 marks out of 1000. Plus a candidate appearing for interview. In a UPSC board of interview, the board is going to test a candidate's administrative skill, administrative ability. Are they going to test how better doctor you can be, how better engineer you can be, how better lawyer you can be, how better politician you can be? No, they want to test how better administrator you can be. So they will test administrative skill. Interview is all about judging the personality from the perspective of administrator. And you prepare for public administration, you get oriented towards administrative personality. Your personality grooms as an administrator. You start thinking as an administrator. And this happens in practice. In practice, this happens. I am giving one very simple example. Suppose you fall from somewhere, from a wall, and there is a wound here in your hand, and you visit a doctor. So you visit a doctor, just a general medicine doctor. So he will give you painkiller. But if you visit a surgeon, he will say you take some X-ray, anything broken, and go to physiotherapist. He will start doing physiotherapy. Medicine doctor does not start doing your physiotherapy. He gives you painkiller. Surgeon first wants to see whether there is a crack in the bone somewhere, fracture somewhere or not. Imagine you meet your family पंडित जी, बेटा ग्रह नक्षत्र बहुत खराब चल रहा है, नहीं, he will say like that. And if you go to tantric, what tantric will say? The tantric will say किसी ने टोना कर दिया, आपका अपना ही आदमी है, पड़ोसी है. He will take an egg in the dark and pick out a tooth from that egg and say, देखो, अगर टूथ निकल आया, दांत निकल आया, मतलब किसी ने टोना किया. Tantric has one perspective. And you visit a psychiatrist, साइकेट्रिस्ट के पास चले जाएं, हाथ में चोट है, बेटा यहां कुछ भी नहीं है, सब एवरीथिंग इज हियर, रिलैक्स, टेक अ डीप ब्रीथ. Why they behave this way? One wound, medicine doctor one perspective, surgeon another, go to physiotherapist something different, pandit ji not talking about painkiller or x-ray, he is talking about graha nakshatra, or tantric talking about jadoo tona, and psychiatrist not seeing anything here, he is saying everything in the brain, mind. It is not a fault, it is specialization. It's not demerit, it's basically their ability to see things from that perspective. So they have studied that subject matter, they orient towards thinking this way. You study public administration, you orient to think in the way administrator think. It happens. It happens. So when your personality develops this way, a question is asked in the board, your approach is such which is administrative in nature, your administrative skill gets reflected. and you easily get good marks. So it helps in interview, and they ask question, what shall you do if we appoint you the collector of this district, your home district, what shall you do? You know what things collector can do, in what domain collector needs to function, what should be collector's approach in functioning, what are the hurdles he faces from Panchayati Raj institutions, from district police department, from other departments which he has to coordinate. Your answer shall be reasonable, not hypothetical. The candidates who appear without this knowledge, they will say, मैं poverty खत्म कर दूंगा, employment सबको दे दूंगा. Collector cannot give employment to people without a policy, without a program. And collector does not have power to run across Prevention of Corruption Act or Lokpal Act to eradicate corruption from the district. Collector can make sure that I am not corrupt and I am not tolerating corruption. Just that. So it helps in interview. Plus, if we talk about one paper essay, one paper essay, like essay is 250 marks, and 2 essay you have to write. So first from AB, second AB. You go through 10 years questions asked. You will find that at least earlier there was only 4 essays, out of which you had to select one. From 13 syllabus change, so 2 essays you have to write. So you go through syllabus, you will find that out of these 4, at least 2 essays are from the subject matter of public administration anywhere. Maybe social welfare, maybe democracy, parliamentary institution, corruption, or some issue which is there in public administration. From there they have asked question. At least 2 essay you definitely get which is directly, indirectly related to your public administration. You have enough content, creativity, examples to write this essay. What problem people face in essay? When they go to examination hall, they see the topic, they don't find what to write. Contents missing. Recollecting contents take time, time is spent more over there, stress is created, creativity lost. In pressure you write the essay. When you see the topic and you know I have studied so many things, of content is ready, then from that content you can reorganize, plan, create something new, give writing in best language, make corrections. Above everything, you are not stressed. Why? Because content is there. I know so many things. It's a psychological support. None other than public administration can give you such support. Public administration is that subject which can support you, that you have enough content to write essay. And once you qualify, do you know, for promotion purpose, UPSC referred to training centers. Marks achieved in training is important. Marks achieved in your qualifying examination is important. Those who have studied public administration, they could be good training, definitely better than so many people. With public administration, they could serve better in administration because they have first hand knowledge of the administration through their studies. They can better understand law, rules, programs, schemes, good things, negative things, public perception, citizen administration relationship, etc. So it works even after qualifying. And one more thing I have felt, even if those people don't qualify, I know so many students, I am teaching for a long time, so I am connected with so many students who could not qualify civil service. They reached up to interview. In some of the paper they had poor marks, they could not qualify. But they are doing very well. They say that, sir, when I go to my village, sometimes I visit Panchayati Raj office, block offices, go to SDM office also with some problems in my area, some schemes, programs, etc. related areas. I help so many people because I know programs work this way. This is genuine beneficiary, a person, my neighbor, genuine beneficiary, he is not getting benefit. So I help them. Your knowledge of management means motivation, leadership, decision making, communication, or several theories of public administration helps you. Your understanding of RTI, day-to-day need. Today, citizens charter, you can go to particular office and say, show me your charter. What are the conditions? What are my rights given in the charter? So you can avail your rights. After qualifying, it helps. Even if you don't qualify, again helps. So public administration is perhaps the best option. What we do in this online class, we have in online class, there is online lecture number 1, and my lectures are very detailed lectures. I try to cover conceptual and related things also. So if you take my lectures once, you will understand the topic for always. So online lecture plus we have WhatsApp group. In that WhatsApp group, the study material, that is printed material is attached. After end of a chapter, very brief test. So we call it class test. Chapter ends, test. Chapter ends, test. This way. This test is evaluated by me. I don't fear giving you 0 also. Most of the people get 1, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. But when they grow matured, when they learn, they start receiving 5. So if I am giving you 0, it means I am seeing your paper. Those who don't see the paper thoroughly, they can give you 6 marks, 6 and 5, 6.5, 7. So you have been given 7 out of 10, you are happy, oh 7. You can't question, sir. But if you have been given 0, then you can question, why 0, sir? So I give 0 because I see the paper. I find is not worth even a single mark, sometimes 1.5 also. So I evaluate these class tests also, I evaluate personally. This lectures what we give, it's a updated content. This updated content means lecture plus material, both updated. Whatever the current related dynamics required to be incorporated, I incorporate in the lecture and in the material both. During the class, I give some topics writing too. My focus remains more on lecturing, making things explained, but sometimes some notes is also required, so I give notes writing also. As it is online lecture series, you can take that notes. Plus it is app based as it is app based course, so one lecture you can view twice, thrice, and that app based lectures freedom to view it. But I suggest whenever you join a course, every day at least, except one Sunday or Saturday, every day at least one lecture you must view. Suppose someday class could not be taken, lecture is not updated, you can repeat the lectures you have seen earlier, but every day you must watch one lecture. One lecture, 2 hours 15 minutes, 2 hours 30 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. So 2 hours lecture is there, spare even during sleep time you can see that lecture, mobile at your disposal you can see that lecture, or at least listen to the lecture. But board I present like I am presenting here, I present in the board, so seeing the board is effective. My intention remains that my words echo in your mind when you are writing the mains examination, and you always remember my face when you are appearing in the civil service mains. So I do not spend my time, consume my precious time in unimportant, unnecessary things. Whatever I discuss is very important. Significance of some topic can be easily verified at short interval, short period, but some of the things are not visibly significant right now, but they are in long run seen to be significant, you will realize. So we have app based views, plus you can have your queries directly asked to me in the group or to my number also. My number will be visible in the WhatsApp group of public administration. You can take that number, save it, send me personal message. Your test must be sent to my number so that others not downloading your test, and I evaluate give to you. Once the course is finished, Pani. Once the course is finished, extensive test is conducted, and that test you can write, full test you can write. I will evaluate. I try to make things very conceptually, very clear, very to the point, and rest I'm open to question. You can ask me questions, I can reply, I'll reply you. I'm inviting you to join this batch, add to the world of public administration. Public administration can be a successful means to become a successful civil servant. Thank you very much for joining my session. Thank you.